Introductions are 10 times more powerful than referrals. Hey, I'm Donnie Boivin, and I'm the CEO of Success Champion Networking, and I'm on a mission to help as many people find freedom through building a business as I possibly can. I can tell you there's no greater tool in this planet than to meet the person in the mirror than actually building your own company. What I found over the years is most people find networking because their sales suck. Their numbers are down, they're not producing, so they literally go out to Google and say, how do I sell more? And they find this idea or concept called networking, and they think it's going to be some sort of savior that's going to radically change their business development and ultimately help them bring on more clients. Here's what I know. If you go into networking with a broke mindset, you're going to get broke results. Networking in general is a tool in your tool belt. It is not the tool belt in entirety. It should be a part of your business development plan, not the overall plan. So you've got to be able to go out and sell, get your own business, and then bring that back to your network. And ultimately, that's where you'll find tremendous success in doing networking. But I want to talk to you through why introductions are so much more powerful than referrals. First, you need to understand, very rarely am I going to run into your perfect referral. It just doesn't happen that often. And the reason being is whatever you sell, I don't get in conversations with people that have that particular need. So I don't care if you sell a software, I don't care if you sell a technology, I don't care if you sell a consulting, I don't care if you sell whatever. The things that people need to say that become the moments of going, oh, I know exactly what you're looking for or who you should meet as far as a referral to help you get that done, just doesn't happen that often. So what I found along the way is I quit focusing on referrals. I even wrote the book, Endless Stream of Referrals, but I quit focusing on referrals and started focusing on who could I be introduced to that their client base was my exact client base, and they weren't competition whatsoever. And a fascinating thing happened. The more I focused on getting introduced to people who already had the clients I wanted to work with, the faster and more powerful the referrals I got and the more business that ultimately came in. Let's define an introduction and a referral. A referral is Bob meets Sally. Bob is looking for your services and he's excited to meet with you. In that scenario, Bob is looking for whatever services an individual sells, and Sally offers those services, so there's a sales conversation expected. A referral has a sales call attached, okay? Which means one of the parties is selling, one of the parties is being sold to. There's a sales call, okay? Once you understand that a referral has a sales call attached to it, introductions become a really easy thing to wrap your head around, because an introduction is two good people should go have a conversation and see what synergistic relationships, what kind of circle of influence they can create with each other, and that could potentially lead to a bunch of referrals and doors opening. When you focus more on introductions, then your life is going to dramatically change and be impacted, because the more you can introduce other people, the more introductions you will naturally get, because people that get this concept want to be around these other people that are doing introductions. So think about it. I'm a firm believer that if I sit down and meet with anybody, unless they're an ass, I should be able to give them 2 to 5 freaking introductions before we leave the call. And I should be able to open those doors for them. And here's the cool thing about introductions. It takes the pressure off of putting two good people together. Because when you say, Bob, let's use different names, but you go to say, Mark, meet Jeannie. Y'all have some great synergy, have some very similar clients. Mark does this, Jeannie does this. Guys, go grab a virtual coffee, go grab an in-person coffee, and figure out how you guys can work together. When you do that and you have a relationship with both people and they don't know each other, you already create this cool level of trust that gets people excited to sit down and have a conversation with the other person introduced. You also get some street cred because people that understand this concept want to be around other people. So when you have it in your head that I'm going to introduce whoever I'm talking to 2 to 3 people, then they're going to want to do pretty much the same. And I can't tell you how many times I've met people for the very first time, and by the time we were done with the conversation, we'd made 2 to 3 introductions for each other. It's just a really powerful thing. So to be able to make introductions, you've got to be able to keep a mental Rolodex or a spreadsheet of people, what industries they are, and who they serve. So think about it from this perspective. I naturally have this tendency to just remember people and remember what they do and remember what they're looking for. So when I have a call with somebody, and all mine's pretty much virtual, when I have a virtual coffee with somebody, I have a natural tendency to be constantly listening for who's the person they need to meet, who do they need to be introduced to. And I'm looking for those key words that goes, I know exactly who you need to meet. And then I go ahead and I make that introduction right then and there. I mean, I don't care if we sit down, 5 years from now, if we only sit down in that 30 minutes, I can judge a person quick enough and fast enough to know, do they get a really high caliber introduction or do they get a very generic introduction? Because I kind of rank everybody that I network with to determine whose name am I vouching for, in this introduction. When you put those 2 people together, you're kind of the person saying, hey, you should go meet. You already helped them establish a level of trust before they even get into the meeting. And when they both show up, there's the commonality. And I'm a real smartass by nature. So I've been told that a lot of times when I introduce 2 people, there's a conversation of, hey, I know Donnie introduced us, don't hold that against me type things, which I think is hilarious and I love. But it just makes the world really go around when you can put people together and open these doors. So focus more on giving introductions. Like you should set a goal each week to give X amount of introductions. And what I want you to be tracking is the number of introductions and referrals that you give and how many ultimately do you put in the marketplace before something comes back to you. And I can usually tell sitting across from somebody that with their ability and tenacity to open up doors for others, how successful their business is. But I also know that if you just give and never take, you're going to lose this game because you can't just make introductions and never ask for them yourself and expect to win. So you got to give about 80% of the time and you got to take about 20% of the time. Right? You've got to have the ability within yourself to be able to ask for very specific introductions. So you better damn well know exactly who you need to beat. So think about 3 things, and that's what I'll leave you on. 3 things. You need to think about what industry already sends you the most referrals, what industry do you refer the most, and what industry do you wish sent you referrals. If you know those 3 different industries, every time you go into a virtual coffee, don't think about the end user you need to meet. Think about those 3 industries and there's synergies you can form with them. So I don't ever ask for the end user that I need to get to. I ask for those circle of influence people who already have that client base. And if I can get to them, we can build synergistic relationships. We can explode our world and make amazing things happen. Guys, I hope you get some value out of this. Introductions have changed my entire life and as far as doing everything. Do me a favor and make sure you leave a comment below, ask questions, anything I can clarify, let me know, and make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you please share this out with one person. Really trying to leave a lot of impact here, and the more you share this out, the more you comment, the more you interact, the more it helps me reach more people. And as always, love you, mean it. See you, bye.